Hi you, welcome back to The Bridge. My name is Lindi, and if this is your first time on this channel, we have conversations that facilitate the transition from high school to university, and we mostly focus on varsity, and today is no different. So one of the last videos that I did was about finances, and it was about finance mistakes that I made in university that you don't have to, that now 4 or 5 years later, or a year later, I wish I had done different. But I no regrets, but I just, it's things that I learned in an indirect way. So what I did is I asked my friends from varsity, I asked my friends whether they have any finance tips that helped them, and I got messages from them, and I'm going to say and read them aloud, and just so that we can talk. And if you have any more finance tips and advice that worked for you during varsity, even if you're not in varsity, even if you're working, even if you're a young adult, maybe you have a job, maybe you don't, maybe you're just, I don't know, but you have great, it doesn't have to be great, no pressure, but just anything that helped you. The littlest thing, the littlest tiniest piece of advice can help. Okay, so put it in the comments down below, and it can really help someone. Maybe it can even help, it can also help me, because I want all the financial advice that you've got. So if you see me looking down my phone, it's because I'm looking for what financial tips they say. Okay, so let's start with finance tip number 1 from a friend, and she says varsity vibe. And I was also going to say the same thing. If you haven't heard of Varsity Vibe, it's basically this app that you can create an account with your student number. So if you're a student at universities that are recognized by this app, then you can sign in, and then you as a student basically have access to all kinds of deals and discounts from various stores, including travel, clothing, food, restaurants. Even though they're like small, those discounts make a big difference. And it's unfortunate that I only realized or only took Varsity Vibe seriously in final year. So if you're in varsity right now, I think some institutions as well, even if they're not like public institutions, I think you can also register. Just download the app Varsity Vibe, check. And it's also a premium account where you can have more access to more deals, but I think you have to pay like a certain fee. I think it's 200 rand. So really, Varsity Vibe for me has been really helpful, and I think it's one of the ways that you can save money on quite a lot of things. The second finance tip, and this one comes from me, and it's a really random and cliche one, but you know those cards that you get. So for example, Checkers has the extra savings card, and Discount has the card. I think P&A as a store, stationery store, also has a card where every time you buy something you swipe and then you get points, and sometimes you'll get discounts from those cards, and sometimes when you get your points you get, like for example, clicks. I think, I'm not sure if it still does this, but you can like rack up a certain amount, like 9 rand. You have 9 rand in your cash savings or whatever, and then at a certain time then you can use it and you get like a 9 rand discount on those things. Wow, I know you know how it works, but things like that really help. And just to clarify, I'm not talking about credit, okay? I'm not gonna say, I don't know how those things work, but I've never used a clothing credit card before. But I'm not talking about credit things, I'm talking about like benefit cards, and especially Checkers extra savings card. I mean, that really helped in some instances where you would get, for example, like a 10 rand discount on peanut butter, or just like small things like that, or a packet of chips, or yeah. So I remember going to P&A and I was looking for sticky notes, right? At the end of the month, 5 rand is a lot, and I think the sticky notes cost like, I forgot, basically I didn't have to pay for those sticky notes because my points at P&A paid for it all. So that's stationery store, so they add up. So yeah, that would be my teeny tiny finance tip number 2. The next finance tip that I got is clothing, right? With regards to clothing, and one of the tips was clothing stores like Yaga, right, where you can buy clothes at a lower price, secondhand clothes at a lower price. And I was never really a fan of secondhand clothing or thrifting, I think it's called. This was until 4th year when we were having our mock trial and we needed professional clothing, right, because it was a very, very serious thing. And I remember the day before the mock trial, I was looking for a relatively affordable, cheap professional jacket because I needed a jacket. And I walked around and I finally got to this thrift store, right? They were selling secondhand clothing, and I looked around and I found these 3 black jackets, and I had the option to pick between 2, and I picked one. Let me actually get it for you and show you right now. But I forgot exactly how much I paid for it. It was 150, I think it was 150 rand. I don't think it was 250. I really think it was 150 or 190 between them. And it was my first professional jacket that I ever got. It was from a second-hand clothing store, and it was good quality, good condition. I just put it in the washing machine. I washed it, let it dry. I remember that day it was raining, so put it there and then wore it the next day to the mock trial. So let me show you right now because it's in my cupboard right now. So this is it. This is the jacket that I got. It's really, really good quality. Really good quality. I mean, there isn't even a tear on it. There isn't like strings coming out, nothing like that. I mean, it's still good to today. Well, I've had it for a year, and I can't believe it's been a year since then. Yeah, and I wore this for I think it was 150, 190 rand, and it was my first professional jacket that I got second hand, and I think, yeah. And I still think it's a really good jacket. I just need like a lint roller to get all the things off it. But I mean, the buttons are still intact. They're still here, still good, and I can still wear it. I haven't worn it in a while because I haven't, needed to wear professional clothes for a while. But I think I discovered the first hole, but it's definitely fixable. You just need the string is just off a bit, but it's in the pocket, so it's hidden. You can't see. But yeah, I mean, this was my first professional jacket for about 150 to 190 rand. So that's just to say, with my very, very little experience of thrifting and getting secondhand clothes, what I can say is this: if you do decide to thrift, it's about getting it right. So it's about, for me, I think I wouldn't mind thrifting certain types of clothing. So for example, jackets, I wouldn't have a problem with. You can get a really good quality jacket at a thrift store. Winter jackets, all those kinds of things. But yeah, I have very little experience with clothing, but I know people who don't dispute it and they encourage it, and they're like, just get thrift. The third financial tip is buy secondhand books. All right, and you might not have done this in first year, because I know in first year I didn't, and the reason that is because I knew no one where I was going. I literally knew no one. I was going to a completely new, different city, and so I didn't know who to get textbooks from. By the time we needed to have our textbooks, or by the time we started classes, I was not in textbook group chats. I was just starting to build a network of people or a group of friends. So I didn't know anyone to get textbooks from. But once you get to second year and third year, I mean, then you can get into group chats where the previous year's students are selling textbooks to you. Just make sure that it's the right edition. So especially in law, you'll find that things change sometimes. The law changes, and so things could be slightly different. So but definitely get second-hand books. Also make sure that when you get second-hand books that you're not being I'm looking for the word. The only word that comes to mind is robbed. But so make sure that before you buy that book, you check on whatever website the retail price of that book, what the book is going for, and whether or not you're getting a good price for it secondhand. So for example, some people are really nice with the prices that they give. Other people are more higher, and it could depend on the quality of book that they have. Maybe they've taken really good care of it, or they barely used it, and so they have it at a high price. So for example, if the retail price is, or the selling price of the book at like a normal bookstore is, let's say 900 rand, and they're selling it to you for 450, that's not bad, right? But some people you'll find are selling it to you for like 700. It's like not really sure, you know. So just make sure that you're getting your money's worth, and obviously the lower the standard of care, the lower the price. But it's really helped, saved a lot, especially I think there was a textbook that was going for like 1,000 and something, and the person sold it to me for about, I think 600 or 550 or something. Anyways, you can get really good deals when you get second-hand textbooks. I know some people do online textbooks, but for me, I don't prefer that because my eyes being on the screen for that long, I mean, already when typing things and writing notes and writing summaries and all those things are on the laptop, but I can't, like, reading online is where I draw the line, because my eyes can't be on a screen the whole time reading 60 pages, you know. It just, no. I don't know which number financial tip this is, but the next financial tip is to look out for discounts, right? Maybe whether this is food discounts, clothing discounts. Some food stores, I remember when I was in varsity, there was a food lovers nearby, food lovers market, and on random Fridays they would have a 10 rand sale, and basically you'd get packets of fruits or vegetables for 10 rand. So you could go there and you could get like a pack of, I forgot what I would buy, maybe there was like blueberries for 10 rand, or a pack of narkies, or oranges for 10 rand, or spinach. I think spinach was like 12 rand, and you'd get all those discounts on a day. So if you know that day is coming up and you need to stock some items, you can you know, you say, no, this Friday there's a 10 rand sale, I'm just going to get all the things that I need there. Also with clothing sales, yeah, I'm not much of a clothing person, so I don't really keep up with clothing sales, but I have friends that do, and they like look out for those sales. So instead of having a day when you buy all your clothes, when there's a sale you buy pants, when there's another sale you buy a shirt, when there's another sale you buy shoes, and another sale, and then you have, for example, you're buying things at discounted prices instead of all at once, non-discounted. And again, Varsity Vibe will help with this because it has discounts. Another tip that goes hand in hand with this is buying things in bulk. So like stocking up in a way. So for example, you might go, or I used to go to Game, and they used to have 2 boxes of cereal, I think for 80 rand, and it was a really good deal, because one of them cost, I'm not exactly sure, but it was a huge discount for 2 of those boxes together to be 80 rand in total. So sometimes it does pay to buy things in bulk, like two for the price of 1, or 2, and then there's like the second one you get half price. I would, however, put a warning label on this finance tip and say this: be careful of buying things that you don't need. In other words, be careful of overstocking. And it's a trap that I fell into last year, when I would, for example, if something's discounted, right, and so I buy it, but then I don't actually need it right now, and when I buy it because of that discount, I say, no, I'm definitely going to use it, but then I end up not using it, so it ends up going bad, and then I just like I wasted, I wasted food and money. So for example, that 10 rand sale that I was talking about at Food Lovers, be careful of walking into a sale like that and buying things that you don't need, because then that extra stock of those fruits and vegetables goes bad anyways. Just, yeah, so I would say of buying things in bulk, be careful of overstocking and buying things that you don't need. Also, be careful what you stock up on, because it's easier to stock up on like non-perishable foods when there's a sale than fresh vegetables and fruits, because those go bad. The next finance tip that I got from a friend is compare prices, right? And she says that she did it by going online and checking the price of something at different stores to see which place has it the cheapest. And I think it's a very prudent idea. It's a very wise idea to say, if you're thinking of buying something, so for example, a memory card, right? And you can go online and you can go, okay, what are the prices at this store? What are the prices at this store? What are the prices at that store? What are the prices at Incredible Connection? Is it cheaper or more pricey? If you're looking for, let's say, a tripod, or I don't know, a type of perfume, because you want perfume, or shoes, right? You look, okay, what are the prices at Sportsman Warehouse? What are the prices at Mr. Price Home? And just, what are the prices on Take-A-Lot? And just compare that. Also, when it comes to food, when it comes to certain food items, there were certain stores where a certain item was cheaper than another. So once again, my cereal, strangely enough, I bought my cereal. I didn't buy my cereal at Checkers like my other things. I didn't buy my cereal at Food Lovers Market. I bought my cereal at Game, because Game had that cereal the cheapest. Game was the place where the 2 boxes of cereal was for 80 rand, where I think one box was like 50 something, 40 something, 50 something, or 60 something for one box. So 2 was like, I keep going on about that deal. Anyways, I still remember. Let me put like an extra thing here, is you won't ever get saving perfect, and sometimes there's things more valuable than saving money. And let me explain. If you left the store 5 minutes walk away and you're at another store and you find that this thing is, you left the cheaper one but you're at this store now, are you really going to walk 5 minutes back to get the cheaper one and then come back? If you have the time, sure. If you have the energy, sure. If you're not carrying a bunch of stuff already, sure. But I mean, when I was buying groceries, I would literally go with the backpack of stuff, and it would get really heavy, and then I'd be carrying like a plastic here, and so to walk back to that other store, I was like, no way, stupid. Or look, dude, you have to go study right now, you're writing an exam in 2 days or something, just buy this one. I know, but just buy it. And then, because the time that you're wasting isn't worth that 5 rand 70 cents or that 2 rand 40 cents. But anyways, depends on time, situation, circumstance, and energy at the time. So this next financial tip I'm going to read, and it says this: takeout is not an option. Invest in healthy, more affordable groceries. Also stock up until there's another sale. So we already spoke about the stocking up. Let's talk about takeout not being an option and investing in healthy groceries. So I think we need to at some time talk about healthy food, eating healthy food as a university student, because when you eat healthy food, you feel better, you think better, you do better, it affects your overall lifestyle. But I want to focus on this statement: takeout is not an option. I remember my first year where I went into a store and I bought a burger and chips, and the whole deal was 99 rand. I still remember that. Anyways, that's until I went to Food Lovers, and there was this deal. There was a 2 burger and chips deal for 29.99. It was 30 rand for 2 burgers and chips, and it was good burgers. Like, it wasn't like they just know they made it right in front of you, and it was fresh, and it was for 30 rand. And I would get that, I think, not every Friday, maybe every Friday. I'm not sure if it was every Friday or every second Friday, but then after a while I stopped. But that's just to say, with regards to takeouts, just try not to do it frequently. And also, Varsity Vibe has deals on certain restaurants, so you can do that as well. It's really all about moderation. It's about moderation. It's about knowing not to do too much, but not to never do it. But yeah, that's really all the financial tips that I have for now. I think if my friends decide to send more, then I'll make another video with like other varsity financial tips. Again, yeah, I hope you have a good week, a good day. Thank you for being here with me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good week, and God bless.